There are many luxury crossover SUVs on the market today. They're the bread and butter of auto manufacturers. But are they all the same? Well, these three each have their own unique characteristics. So let's take a look at each one of them, starting off with the Acura RDX. Acura was introduced in North America back in 1986 as the luxury division of Honda. Back then, the Acura legend competed directly with the Lexus ES of the time. In the 90s, Acura introduced more performance-oriented models, including the Integra Type R and the legendary NSX. But things changed in the 2000s. Acuras weren't particularly sporty nor luxurious. Things changed once again back in the late 2010s and early 2020s. Acuras, including their crossovers like this RDX, became sportier to drive, and their interiors were much nicer than they were a decade ago. But first, let's take a look at what's under the hood. This RDX is powered by a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that produces 272 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque. Unfortunately, this is the only powertrain that is available for the RDX, whereas the X3 and the NX have more options. But while the RDX has to make do with just one engine and a 10-speed automatic transmission, it is a quick crossover SUV. It can't quite match the BMW X3 on outright pace, but it is very close between them. Where this RDX really shines is around corners. For us here in Canada, it comes standard with SH all-wheel drive or super handling all-wheel drive. This system can not only transfer power between the front wheels and the back wheels, but also from side to side. It uses real torque vectoring to better rotate the SUV as you drive through a corner. What that means is that this is a fun crossover to drive. But it's the BMW that has made a name for itself when it comes to providing an enjoyable driving experience. Unlike the other two crossovers, the BMW is the only one with a rear-wheel drive biased all-wheel drive system. This means that more of the engine's power is sent to the back wheels, allowing the front wheels to just worry about the steering. Unlike the Acura RDX, the BMW X3 does have more engine options. This one is the 30i, which is most comparable to the other two luxury crossover SUVs. Its 2-liter turbocharged engine produces 248 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. There's also the plug-in hybrid version with up to 29 kilometers of electric-only driving. If you want something a bit more fun to drive, there's the X3 M40i or the 503 horsepower X3M. But what if you don't need tire shredding performance or maximum cornering agility? What if you just want something that is comfortable to drive around town? Then the Lexus NX is the right crossover SUV for you. This is a much more relaxed feeling SUV. It doesn't have the driving demeanor of the other two, but as I said, it is much more comfortable. The available adaptive dampers provide a plush ride and really isolate you from the poor road conditions of city streets. Furthermore, the cabin is really quiet, which means that the NX will not tire you out on your daily commute to and from work. Pretty quiet in here. Just like the BMW, the Lexus NX has multiple powertrain options. The NX350 is the least powerful with just 203 horsepower, while this 350 model has 275 horsepower from its turbocharged 2.4-liter engine. For those that want efficiency, there are two hybrid models to choose from. The NX350H is a traditional hybrid with a fuel efficiency rating of up to 5.7 liters per 100 kilometers in a city, while the NX450H Plus is a plug-in hybrid with up to 58 kilometers of electric-only driving range. So when it comes to the powertrains, each of these three crossover SUVs have their own unique characteristics. The BMW is the most fun to drive, especially if you go for that M version. The Acura RDX doesn't have any options apart from the 2-liter engine, but it is almost as fun to drive as that BMW. And as for the Lexus NX, it is the most efficient and comfortable of the three. But what about practicality? After all, these three are family crossover SUVs, not sports cars. If it's space you need, the Acura RDX offers the most of it. Not only does it have the most legroom across both rows of seats, but the RDX also has a large cargo area. You can fit a lot of stuff in the trunk. The X3 is the next biggest of the three. While on paper it doesn't have the big numbers of the RDX in terms of passenger and cargo volume, it's not that far off. And finally, the Lexus NX is the smallest of the three, but passenger volume is not too far off from the others. It's the cargo capacity that is significantly less than the X3 and the RDX. So the NX is the smallest, but it has one of the nicest interiors out of any luxury crossover SUV. Take the steering wheel for example. The leather is the softest that you're going to feel among these three SUVs that we have here today. The leather on the seats is New Lux, which is synthetic, but it does feel like the real stuff. And you can of course get real leather in this NX as well. And as for the controls and infotainment, well, this car is available with a 14-inch touchscreen, the biggest out of these three luxury crossover SUVs. The climate controls have the temperature display in them, and you do get the all-important volume knob. This car can also be equipped with just about every convenience feature that you can imagine, just like the other two cars. In the Acura, things are much more sporty looking. The steering wheel is contoured to your hands. There's a strip of ultra suede running down the center of the seat to keep you in them when you're going quickly around corners. And the central focal point of the dashboard is this large driving mode selector. You get the impression that this is a more driver-centric interior, which is weird because traditionally it's the BMW that is the driver's car. The X3 has a typical BMW interior. It has just the right amount of physical controls as well as touchscreen functions. You can get it with piano black, aluminum, wood, or even carbon fiber trim. And unlike the other two, you do have more options for the color of the seats as well. So just like the powertrains of these three crossovers, their interiors can be differentiated based on what you want most out of a luxury SUV. However, things are really different once you start looking at the pricing. A fully loaded Acura RDX is the least expensive of the three at just under $62,000. The Lexus NX350 with the most expensive package is hovering around the $69,000 range. And the BMW X3 with all of the same features that are available in the other two is the most expensive at around $75,500. Let's recap. The Acura RDX is only available with one engine, but it is the least expensive and it's quite a lot of fun to drive. The Lexus NX is the smallest of the three, but it is the most comfortable and most efficient. And finally, the BMW X3 is the most expensive, but you do have a lot of options when it comes to customizing it, and you can get it with that monstrous 500 horsepower engine. So it comes down to your preference. Do you want the sporty, fun-to-drive factor of the BMW, the comfort of the Lexus NX, or do you want something in between like the Acura? Let us know in the comments. And if you would like to know more about any of these three luxury crossover SUVs, please don't hesitate to contact our knowledgeable product specialists at OpenRoad Acura Richmond, OpenRoad Lexus Richmond, OpenRoad Lexus Port Moody, BMW Langley, or the BMW Store in Vancouver. Thank you very much for watching and see you next time.